Hello, friends. Yeah, so first things first, I got a microphone. I don't know how this is gonna go. I tried to set this up with my camera and there was a horrible ringing noise, so I'm recording this on my phone and I'm hoping I can use this today in case the air needs to turn on because it is October, but it's gonna be 80 degrees today. With that being said, I am trying on all of my knits that are not currently in what I consider my personal wardrobe. So these are knits that I have made that I actually have listed for sale because I made them and I don't wear them. And instead of having them sit in a bin for their eternity, I am trying to get them out into the world. And I don't say that to be like, buy my stuff, but I just say that as um, yeah, a lot of these knits I made were like part of my like beginning creative journey. So they were things that I was either trying something new or I just like had something in my brain that I needed to get out of my brain and or they just didn't fit my body how I wanted them to fit. Like I wouldn't say a lot of them have anything like technically wrong. Like these I think are probably within like after a year or two of me knitting. So I think they're pretty technically sound, but for one reason or another, I just don't wear them. I also dress pretty boring on my day to day. I work from home and I don't do anything crazy. So, yeah, this is not meant to be a personal style video. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. And I also, another disclosure, I don't want this to be a conversation about like selling your knits and how to price them and whether or not you should do that. Um, yeah, this is not that conversation. I have made the decision to sell my knits simply because, yeah, otherwise they're just going to be there and I'd rather get them out into the world with someone that will appreciate them rather than them just taking up space in my home. So, yeah, this is just a collection of knits that I've made that I currently still have that are not in my personal wardrobe. I also, another future video, I do have a bin of, so like these are like my good knits that I don't wear. I do have a bin of like forbidden knitwear that for one reason or another, they just like they live in their bin. So they live there and they will not be sold. And yeah, I definitely want to make a video at some point of like the forbidden bin. So yeah. I also, before I get started, I am going to try these on like chronologically from like the oldest to the newest. There are some pieces where I just like really don't know like where they fall like chronologically, but we are generally going to be like old to most recent. All right, so strong start with the granny square crochet skirt. So I tried to investigate a little bit to see when I may have made this, and I believe it might go back to like 2020 or like 2021. So I did primarily crochet before I started knitting, and I did have like a big granny square kick for a while. And so this is 100% cotton. I do have like a not a folded waistband, but I made a knit I cord. Or what is this? I think it's no, this is definitely crochet. Just like a crochet thing. And I just like you can see probably it goes like in and out. And it's like not anything like crazy, but I mean she's kind of cute. Like definitely like still on par with like the color palette. I have a mirror. Oh yeah, you can see my mirror. The color palette like I generally still stick to, and surprisingly she still kind of fits me, but like yeah, I personally would never wear this in real life, but I think she's cute. All right, I have to keep playing with the camera angle to like get the shot I need, but like, okay, this honestly kind of slaps. So, okay, obviously a knit dress, and I want to say I did this on like four, maybe 3.5 millimeter needles. Again, 100% cotton. There's like a little bit of like ribbing in the back, and after the fact I did add, once I like discovered elastic, this was one of the pieces I believe I sewed in some elastic into the back to help like keep the integrity there. Then of course we have I cord, halter, tie. I think you can see that back there. And then there's a little a little slit there. Again, miraculously, still fits me. I'm like, I think this is kind of like a sleigh look. Like, I don't know, maybe I like anytime I try some of my old knits on, I'm like, okay, but this actually kind of slaps. Like, why don't I wear this? Like, I don't know. Like, this is kind of sick. So anyway, I don't wear this, but like I might have to start. Like it looks pretty good. Um yeah, anyway, cotton dress. It self-drafted. So like let me just say like everything that I'm showing is like yeah, self-drafted stuff that I just like wanted to get out of my brain and like experiment. And yeah, I think this was like my first dress, like my first like really like fitted knit garment that like I self drafted. And yeah, this was like me starting to branch into making my own knitwear. So yeah, she slaps. Okay, so I don't know where exactly in the timeline I went from the previous dress to this dress because like I said, I have sold some of my knitwear and it's not like totally chronological, but this was definitely I think the next dress I did. And like I just like this is still probably I think I would have made this maybe 2022, maybe 2023. This was like I don't even know, but I still love this dress. This is one of the favorite things I've ever made in my life. Yeah, I still have my bra on. Obviously, if you were to wear this for like a real situation, which like where would I wear this? I don't know. Like I definitely don't go anywhere where I would ever wear this. But again, this was like one thing that like I had in my brain and I just it needed to get out into the world. So it has the lace heart pattern all the way up, all the way down. It's maxi length. I don't know if I can get far enough back here for you to see. And then super low scoop and high side slits all the way up. So 100% cotton. Yeah, she's perfect. She has I-cord straps and they attach pretty high. And again, this was another one that when I discovered elastic, she did get some elastic added to her to help with the wear. But yeah, I like really want someone to buy this someday and just wear it to like something where they just want to be like hot and cool and just like I don't know, like for the right person, like this is going to be an amazing piece for them. That's just not me, but I really enjoyed making this. This was obviously like yeah, this was well before I got like a knitting machine or anything. So yeah, this was hand knitted. I think this was maybe on like maybe 5.5 millimeter needles. People ask me all the time because like I have this out at markets. They're like, how long did that take you to make? And I'm like, all right, this is another one of those pieces when I try on that I'm like, why don't I wear this? Like, this is actually much more like on par with kind of like how I would dress now. I definitely don't dress like, I don't know, I feel like I'm generally much more like conservative in how I dress myself these days. I will say for my personal taste, these are probably a little bit big. I didn't shape this kind of as well as I could have. Just I feel like, I obviously did the decreases there, but it looks like I did some shaping in the back, maybe. Oh, okay. And so yeah, let me just show like the obvious like design details here. So obviously alternating stripes here, and then same with the back. It all just like changes. So that's pretty cool. Again, idea that I had in my brain, and I was just like how to get it out. I think I was playing Yarn Chicken like the whole time with this. I think I had one skein of each of this color. It's 100% linen, and then the buttons are actually, I think, Raina from A Wild Offering, her mother, I think, made the buttons. And I've bought copious amounts of wool and fiber from her. So every once in a while, she sneaks in some little goodies for me. Shout out to Raina. She is the best. But yeah, so this top is pretty cool. It's good. Again, like technically sound. Like the buttons are cool. I like it. It's definitely like good for summer, but maybe this is another one that I should just keep. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so here's another like cool idea, but like very impractical, perhaps. Okay, so first big thing about this, this is my first ever semi resembles yarn, hand spun yarn. So my very, very first ever, of course, is yeah, never to be seen, never to be in a finished object because yeah, it is a hot mess. But like I ordered a breed sampler kit and this was all on a drop spindle. So this is all yarn from that breed sampler. Not all of the yarns. Some of those are also completely unusable, but these were some of the ones that like best resembled like functioning yarn. So again, I had limited yarn to use, but I knew I wanted a project. And again, idea in my brain, whether or not it made sense for like practical wear wasn't really, it didn't matter. And so I made this. I think it's pretty cool. Like the idea and like the color blocking, it obviously has the slit. This is one that I have up on the hanger a lot of times. People are like, how do you wear this? And I'm like, it's a halter top with a keyhole. Like it's not, but okay. So the back is like pretty, but again, it's like I had limited yarn to use and I knew I wanted my first hand spun to be in something cool. And again, like if you want to be really warm and like even like right now, like my neck is warm, but it looks cool. Like I don't know. I don't know where you would wear this, but I should really redo this top, but in yarn fibers that are practical for this like shape and style because I think the idea and like the overall execution like looks pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, but can't wear this. Can't wear this where I live or with anything that I do. Okay, so for this next piece, I'm gonna stand kind of close to the camera so you can actually see some of this detail here. And okay, this piece as well as the next piece were whatever year that like knit and crochet boleros and like sleeves were like it. So clearly this was a project from that era. This also is from an era where I was posting very regularly to Instagram, and so I felt like I was constantly like trying to keep up with like getting stuff out the door and just like making things. And again, this was my first cable project, and I also did, came up with the pattern myself. I did that, and then okay, so this is when I got my first knitting machine, my Bond Incredible sweater machine, I think is what I have. I got it on eBay because obviously once I started getting involved in the knitting community online, and then I see people, one, I saw people spinning yarns. I'm like, oh my God, I want to spin yarn. Then I saw people with knitting machines, and I'm like, oh my God, you can buy knitting machines. So I bought a knitting machine. So this piece, I think I only did the back panel on my knitting machine. And this, as you can see, like at this point, I hadn't, and I don't even remember what else I would have had from this timeline that I would have sold, but I think this was when I first started getting into like sweater garment construction on my own. And I hadn't done too many like sweater patterns at that point. So I didn't really have like a great understanding of like not making your neck choke you out and like shaping for the shoulders and like making sure you have like enough room for like your arm, like just like things like that that like you just get better at as you knit and do patterns and things like that. So yeah, for me personally, I have a pretty broad chest and back, so this definitely chokes me out a little bit. This is a 50% wool, 50% silk blend yarn, and it is a single ply. The yarn was pretty expensive, and again, this was when I was like still not as like familiar with like fiber compositions and how to use that in garments and when you should use certain things and when you shouldn't, and like just like all of the things. So I just remember this project being rushed, not intelligently designed, and yeah, I shouldn't have used such good expensive yarn on this piece. And but I think for someone with a smaller frame that this would actually look very nice. I'm very proud of the cable pattern and design, especially for it being my first um, cable project. This one does have some elastic down on the bottom ribbing. Oh, and like another thing I would have, it's hard to tell because I'm wearing all black, but I should have done, yeah, short row shaping. I wish the back came down more. I wish the front came down more. But yeah, I think for someone with a smaller frame, this could still be cute if this was your vibe, and if we were back in the era when everyone just wore sleeves and tank top. Okay, another black bolero sleeve situation. This one's a little bit different. This is another one that I try on, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like, I think like I could actually wear this, and so I do have another way that you can tie the straps that I'll show in a minute here, but this project was 100% machine knit. This one I remember doing specifically just to get more familiar with my knitting machine. And so I think, yeah, the sleeves were just rectangles and they're seamed up the sides. The back is just a rectangle and I seamed the seam. I sewed the sleeves to that, and then these were also knit on my knitting machine. So everything was just knit separately, just rectangles, and then sewed together. I might have done, looks like I did a little bit of either decreasing or increasing on the ties, but I think, and I might have done some decreasing on the sleeves. It looks like I do see like a little bit of like a decrease pattern there. So I did do some sleeve shaping. So this was me like just starting to expand those skills. It's not like the most insane knitwear piece ever, but it definitely it did what it was supposed to do. So let me show you the other way that I can wear this. All right, so this might actually even be my preferred way is crossing it in the front and then tying it in the back. I think that looks great. Um, it's made with mostly alpaca and I think wool, just a little bit of wool to help with the memory yarn. So it is very warm. So I'm getting warm. And again, like I'm wearing this and I'm like, wow, this actually looks pretty good. But yeah, I don't know when I would wear it, but it is cute. It's cute. Okay, so this was another one that I just needed to like try out this idea. So it has little like pockets in the side with an I cord in the side. Let me, I'm gonna clip this on to my thing. I tried doing this earlier, but it might pick up some weird sound. So I apologize, but yeah, so you can pull that out and, you know, get the full length, and then you can tie this up and scrunch them up. So, yeah, this was my first like prototype of this design. I'm gonna unclip this. Um, yeah, and so it has elastic at the top, and I think with this particular one, I did knit front and back panels flat, and then I just like folded the like sides in on themselves and sewed it down to make a pocket. And then, of course, I did that for the front and back, and then I sewed the front and back together like midway through the pocket. So it was obviously created a piece. And then, yeah, I did the I cords, and then I just sewed them through. Um, yeah, and the I cords, the um, like casing stops right before the elastic here, and then it also stops right before the folded hem. So I have a folded hem on the top and bottom. The top contains elastic, and then I have the piping with the I cords on the side. I did make I made a version of this in the round, and then I knit just like little flat panels, and then I sewed the panels on the side and then stitched down just like the middle of it and did a version of that to create the piping. And then I also made a version of my knitting machine where I followed the same design pattern as this one. I just knit the front and back panels flat, and then I folded in the sides, sewed that together. So I made a couple of variations of this top. I do like this design. At one point, I thought about making a pattern for this. Um, Let me know if that is anything that you want. I obviously did not do that, but yeah, I think it's a cool thing, and I think it turned out cool. Yeah. Okay, from this piece forward, and maybe even including that last piece, because I do think a lot of the finishing details, as well as like the idea, were pretty good for knitting design. I don't know, but this is where I feel like I've really seen my skill get a lot better and just like some of my like executions. So first major thing about this piece, this is 100% handspun yarn. So on this side is an alpaca silk, and then this side is a Polwarth silk something else. Do I have it on? Let me see. I have like a tag on this. Yak. It's yak Polwarth silk this side. So yeah, these are both 2-ply yarns. And again, I had the vision in my head for like this asymmetrical um piece. So you can see in the back it's asymmetrical. The back has a straight seam down the middle, and then the front has this diagonal. Um a lot of this was hand knit, but I did do some of this on my machine. I know I did at least this long part on my knitting machine. I've Yeah, this was the point where I try to just get like more intelligent with like my knitting machine usage and using it, where it makes sense, like when you're doing just like long as F stockinette. Um, yeah, but some of this was knit by hand, so it was a little bit of both. I think I machine knit this, and then I transitioned it onto my needles, and then I don't remember. I think this ended up getting sewn together. I think I did these totally separate and sewed them, but I honestly don't remember at this point. But yeah, this is another one where I'm like, I really like this top. I probably should keep it for myself, but I have worn it, I think, once or twice, like out in the real world. But I don't know. I just don't know. I don't have a lot of places to wear it. And I hope that maybe one day it'll go to someone where they would wear it more than like I can. But super cool. Super proud of this one. I really like how it turned out. I think this was like some of my first like really good yarn that I was spinning. Like as you can see, pretty thin and consistent. Like it looks consistent throughout. Yeah, I'm very happy with this one. Okay, these next two sweaters that I have, well, one's a sweater, one's a short sleeve. I had one more that kind of fit this theme that actually found a home. Thank you so much, Brianna. I'm sorry, I don't know if your name's Brianna or Brianna, but Zadie's Gourmet, she bought one of these sweaters. It says, I didn't ask to be born, so I deserve a little treat. Kind of the same idea as this, but it has that text all through the front. She bought that one, so it is no longer in my possession. But this was the next installment of, I call it my nihilist sweaters. And so it says nothing matters on one side with a smiley face, and then nothing matters with a frowny face on the back. And then it has the alternating faces on each of the sleeves. It is stranded, so stranded color work. And I made all the charts, of course, still self-drafted sweater. So yeah, this is another one that I like. I'm super proud of this piece. I think it turned out super cool. When I do markets, people either love this or they hate it. Same with like the next sweater I'm gonna show. Some of the old boomer ladies come and they read this and then they read the next sweater I'm gonna show you, and then they just like leave immediately. And then like the younger cool people, or just like cool people in general, are like really into it. So yeah, controversial piece, but yeah, I'm super happy with this piece. This is probably I don't know, it's definitely one of my best executions ever, and it's one of my favorite ideas I've ever had ever. So Again, I think it's really cool, and I just wouldn't wear it, but I like it. So yeah, nothing matters. And this was the last of that little collection that I made. Life is Pain and the little flower. So yeah, this was the last one I made. I forgot to mention with the other one that all of these sweaters that I made were like a means to use at my stash. I bought a bunch of Cascade 220 when one of my local yarn stores went out of business. So I had a lot of worsted weight wool. And then I just had like a couple other random worsted weight skeins around. So yeah, these sweaters were all an effort to just kind of like use some of my stash. So this one I didn't have as much as the green. I think I literally just like knit this until I ran out of green. This is all still stranded color work. This obviously has like a little bit of intarsia here, but I did pretty good. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I did a pretty good job on that. And I don't like mean to be that guy, but I do actually, no, my Etsy is on vacation mode. You can't use my Etsy because I'm mad at Etsy, but I do have charts for all of these that I made. I don't have like sweater patterns, but if you want any of the charts, I do have the charts available. And yes, if you're interested in that, let me know. I use Big Cartel for my website, and they don't have like a direct PDF sending mechanism that is free. I think I have to pay extra for that. That's why I don't have it on my website, but I do still have it somewhere, and I can make it re-available if that's anything that people are interested in. But yeah, I made all the charts on Stitch Fiddle, and yeah, so that's the last of these. I'm very proud of these sweaters. I really like them. This one's cute. Like I don't know why. I should wear this one. I should wear this one too. All right, so this is a machine knit project. Again, I as you can tell, I either like use insane color or all black. So those are like options. It's just like absolute insanity or just black. So excuse me. This is yeah, this was all done on my knitting machine, obviously, other than the seaming. It might be, yeah, I'm walking back here so you can see the length. So this stripe detail is actually the same hand spun yarn as what was in that one like asymmetrical top. So it's the same two um, grays. And then, yeah, so this was like my first time doing ribbing on my knitting machine. And that's when I found out that sucks because I don't have a ribber. So it was manual ribbing on my machine. And yeah, that sucked because I have ribbing on the bottoms, of course, and on the sleeves. And then I even, because I am a smart knitter now, I did a 1x1 rib all down the front insides to help. It's actually, it didn't help as much as I intended it to, but the intention there was to help. Well, the seams aren't curling, they are like bending in a little bit. But I did do 1x1 rib down the front panels to help prevent curling in because I hate that. Um, yeah, I always like to finish my edges in either ribbing or a folded hem. I don't know that you'll catch me doing like the rolled hem thing that's happening. Couple things about this one. I'm very proud of this. I think I did a very good job overall. This was like my first, well, one of my first like big fitted, like the ease is obviously, I, I think I intended it to be 0, but I wish that this would have came in more. I don't like how, yeah, I think the front panels come off of my shoulders too much, but again, someone with like a smaller frame, I think this would be really nice. And yeah, I think that there's nothing technically wrong with this. I also did I-cord. I have a little I-cord machine now. So at one point I started doing all my I-cords on the machine, this included. I know I did that. I did hand sew the arms and the sides, everything together. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this one. It is nice, but for me to wear personally, I don't love that, but it honestly doesn't look bad. Like I definitely could wear it. Like this, I mean, I guess I probably shouldn't wear all black, but like I could wear it like this as it is right now. I think it looks good. Like people that aren't like super analytical about clothing like would probably never notice such a detail, but as people that make clothes, like we obviously pay attention to that stuff. And this is probably the coolest thing I have ever made. So I think it took me a couple years from the lace hearts dress to top that, in my opinion. But this is a vest I made maybe like a year or so ago now. I finished it. It's 100% handspun yarn. So we have the white is Teeswater, and then the dark is a border Leicester, and the gray is also a border Leicester. And so the back is like that. Again, the design and like layout of the colors was like mildly influenced by the amount of yarn that I had spun. And I think so the fleece is from or the Teeswater fleece is from a fleece I bought at the Worcester Fiber Fair. I think my first year that I went, I don't remember how many years I've gone now, maybe 3 times. I don't know. But I think I bought the Teeswater fleece my first year. So this one I washed and did like all of the things. The brown border Leicester I bought from Reina, and I actually spun that one in the grease because it was immaculate. And so that one actually didn't get like, yeah, I spun that one raw and then I scoured it like after it was already like done. And that was a joy. And then the border Leicester, the gray, I had got from my girl Jill. I think I've mentioned Jill before. She's from my fiber guild, and she gave me some border Leicester fleece when I bought a drum carter off of her. And so that was washed when I got it. So zipper down the front. Yeah, I didn't know about, apparently there's like zipper casings that people do with knitwear, which this was my first time ever doing a zipper. I had never followed anything before. I just like do stuff and just like hope it works out. So if you have any ideas on like, I don't know, how to cover that, I surprisingly did like a pretty good job. I mean, I don't think there's any issues with it as it is, but I guess that could be like a detail to be better. But then also, it has a hood. I have to come back here. It has a hood, and then, yeah. So, like, this is like real deal. Like, this can protect you from the elements very well. And yeah, I should probably keep this for myself, but I don't think I'd ever actually wear it. But yeah, like look at that detail. I even did short row shaping on the shoulders. And then yeah, you can see I did the shaping for the neck, and then I picked it up. And I wasn't messing around with this one. I'm very happy with how this turned out. And yes. Yeah, this is probably the best thing I've ever made to this point. Okay, so surprisingly, we've gotten this far. This is the first piece that I am greatly feeling the effects of my body being a little bit bigger right now. And yeah, my hair is a mess from, I'm like literally not paying attention to what I look like at all as I'm doing this. Yeah, even though this is one that's been finished more recently, as you can see, but I definitely made the armholes a little bit too small for myself to begin with, but I've been lifting a lot more lately and taking creatine and stuff, so my arms are getting pretty fucking big. And yeah, so for my arms, it's too tight. It's way too tight. Um, this was another effort of just trying to like stash bust a bit. I obviously had a lot of kind of colors that went together. I did just like a bunch of different things here. So I did, obviously I had some cables. I did this like cute little, I have a bunch of pattern books. So I did like the little hearts. I did that. I have some knits going sideways and then some going vertically. I just did like I was just doing whatever I felt like for this one, to be honest. So yeah, obviously it does not fit me. I would never in my life wear purple. I just That's just not a color that I wear. So how I accumulated all this purple yarn is honestly beyond me because I would never in my life have I been that person. But yeah, again, for someone with like a smaller frame and smaller arms, I think this is a really cool, unique sweater. It is all kinds of different fiber contents, mostly wool. There's some 100% silk, there's some mohair, some cotton, just kind of like whatever. This is some Noro. This is some, I don't know what this is, but I'm actually working on another sweater that's like somewhat similar to this, but it's like grays and blues and black. And that one's like all cable textures. It's currently been in my closet for almost a year, but it is there for when I am ready to pick it up again. Okay, you're probably just as shocked as I am to see a crochet piece this late in the game. Yes, I did knit. I crocheted this quite recently. And again, this was in part of the effort to use up some of my worsted wool. So yeah, I had all these colors and I just did like random striping pattern. And then looks like I did an I-cord edge around the edges, except for not around the armholes. I think because I ran out of yarn. I think that's why I didn't do that. And then I have the little um, eyelet clasp there. Again, this is just not something that I would wear, and it doesn't fit me the best, but it definitely is for again someone with a smaller frame. It would look probably better. I mean, even if you were my size and you like how it looks, I mean, whatever. Who am I? But I just don't. I would not. I would not. I like these colors in my hair, but this is just not my vibe from like a fashion standpoint. But yeah, I think it's all Cascade 220 worsted. And yeah, I was just trying to like use some crap up. And it turned out pretty cute. I think it turned out cute for what it is. So yeah. All right. So this is again probably one of my favorite things that I have made. This is a like t-shirt dress that I made on my knitting machine. It is 100% wool. You can see how nice all that looks there. And yeah, so I knit the front and back panels identical. And the only issue with that is that the neck goes a little bit lower than I would like, but I think for most people that wouldn't bother them. But as a knitter, um, I know that if I were to make this again, I would bring the neckline up. I would probably not do as much shaping and like decreasing whatever in the front for the back, just to raise that up a little bit. The folded collar was hand knitted, and I had originally knit like sleeves for this, but that looked horrible. So I ripped that out, and I all I did was I then just like hand knit a folded, yeah, a folded thing there. And then I did folded hem on the bottom, and that was done on my machine. Um, I think my original intention when I made this, I was supposed to have one more stripe repeat and it was supposed to be longer. And for whatever reason, I just didn't do that. But I think it still turned out really good. I get a lot of compliments on this dress, like when I have it hanging out at like markets and stuff. And even like the side seaming, like the stripes line up. I mean, that was all hand sewn. That all lines up really good. So yeah, this is like one of my pieces. I don't remember. hard to remember sometimes, like when I sold pieces, like what happened in between. But I think this is one of the pieces that I made on my like nicer, newer knitting machine, where I'm kind of like, okay, like we're getting better at this. We're getting better. So, um, yeah, and my last little thing right there is also um a machine knit thing. So yeah, we'll check that out. Okay, and so this is the last thing that I have made that I don't have in my personal wardrobe. But again, this is one that when I try it on, I'm like, okay, but should it be? Like, should I keep this? Um, okay, so this is made from a 50% wool, 50% silk. This was again a yarn acquisition from a local yarn store going out of business. I had originally used some of this yarn for like a basket weave, like hand knit top that I had made, and I had a lot left over, and I ended up frogging the one top that was finished so that I could complete this set. So the top came first. So the top is machine knit. So yeah, the front and back, the front panels and the back were done on my machine. Same with like the bottom hem. I did hand knit, double knit um band. Actually, I'm lying. The pants came the pants came first. So, yeah, but anyway, it's been so long since I made the pants. I don't even know what all went into them, but I know I obviously made the left and right side separate. I did increases, kind of like how you do then the fronts and the backs. I did some short row shaping on my knitting machine. I did the increases. I was doing, I think, short row shaping and increases at the same time. Folded band at the top for elastic, and obviously seamed the front, you know, here and here together, seamed the insides of the legs. I did a folded hem. And then once I figured out what I was doing for the top, I don't know if you can see, I have little bows on the bottom of the pants, and they're like a capri length. And yeah, and then I came up with the idea for the top, and so I made the matching top, and that came quite a bit after the fact because I was struggling with what I wanted to do. I knew I needed a matching set, but I just like didn't know what the vision was. So um yeah, I knit I knit the front and back panels on the knitting machine. I did the folded hem. This is just an I think this is just what did I do? No, that feels like that's a double knit. That's a double knit armhole. And then this is a double knit through the front. And then I use my I-cord machine for these. And yeah, this was like the last thing that I made garment wise that is now out, getting ready to go out into the world. Yeah, this year in particular, I've really been focused on making things for myself, like I mentioned. So yeah, that's been going good. And yeah, that's been my focus lately, is making things for me. I do have a couple of like experimental things I want to do on my knitting machine that may result in more things going on my rack, but that is TBD. I plan on filming a vlog for that, so that is coming. But um I'm going to get out of here as soon as I'm done recording this because it is getting warm. And yeah, but thanks for sticking around. If you made it for this video, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I wanted to get this done because my market season is now over, and I want to get a lot of these items to my friend Lex at 43 Artisan Co. because she has a retail space, and I want to give her some of the stuff so she can have it out and people can shop in person. Um, yeah, now that I made this video, I can hand them off. Um, yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for being here, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.